Alright, so this is a Wemos D1 Mini. So it's using the ESP8266. So this is a Wi-Fi Arduino card. So we're just gonna quickly unbox it here and unwrap it. So this is what it looks like. It's right there. Show it to the camera. There. So it comes with some male headers, some female headers, and then these ones, which I believe will go right through. So you could have, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of these. I don't know what they're for. But I'll be putting some male headers on here and breadboarding. So for this project, we'll only be needing the 5-volt ground and then one pin, one digital pin. But I'm just going to solder them all on anyways. So let me just quickly solder them, and I will be right back once I'm done soldering. Okay, so now I have it all soldered. The solder is terrible now. I've had it for years. I need to get an upgrade maybe with like a dial or something. Maybe let's even get one used. So I have it all soldered. So just to go over, there's a 3.3 volts, there's a few digitals, there's only one analog pin, there's a reset, one 5-volt pin, and one ground pin. And then also the pins that are on here don't actually match up for what has to go in the code. So like here, right beside the ground and 5 volt is D4, and D4, I remember looking at it, I want to say it's like, in the actual code it's like pin 7. So I'll double check and I'll show you a picture of it on the computer when we switch over there. So I also have my WS2812B strips. These are, I have 2 rolls of what is this, 5 meters, and this is 60 LEDs per meter. I'm only going to be using not that much, probably like 40 or 60 LEDs. So these are the rolls I have. I'm going to cut it, and then I'll hook it up to this, and we'll jump over onto the code and what we'll have to do to finish this project out. So let me just bring you over to the computer. Okay, so here you can see we have the ESP8266 Wemos D1 Mini pinout. Now, as I was saying before, I thought D4 was like pin 14. It's actually pin 2 in code, but on here it's pin 4. So you kind of have to reference this to actually get the correct pins. Because if you put like pin 4 as the output, it will not work. It will actually come out here on pin 2. So I'm just going to be using these three since they're all beside each other. So I will be only be using 5 volts, ground, and pin 2, which is actually pin 4 on the board. And you can see it has 3.3 volts, a reset, and one analog pin. So use that analog pin wisely. And now, so just jumping straight into it. First thing we'll have to do for this project is we'll have to get a Adafruit account. So here, create an Adafruit account. It's free. If you come to this screen right here, it's this little IO right here is a tab we'll be clicking, so just click that. You can see I already have a Google Home dashboard here, so this is for another project. That's my main one, but I'll just be creating a new one just to show you how you guys work. So first thing we'll do is click Action here. We'll hit Create a New Dashboard, and this one I'll just call Google Home 2. You can create a description if you want. I'm not, so just hit create here. You can see it's just right here. We'll select it, and we will or just double click it, double click it, and it'll pop up here, and this is the screen you'll be presented with. Now it looks like there's nothing here. It's because there's nothing here. So first thing we'll do is we'll come up to the top right and click this blue button that says create new block. We'll click it. So for this, for the Google Home, to recognize your voice, we'll do text. So click that. So these are the other things I have on the other Google dashboard. So we'll create a new one. So first we'll type new feed name. So we'll call this just mode. Let's just do the lowercase. We'll then hit create. You'll see it pops up right here, and we'll just make sure it's selected there and click next step. Now you can create a block name. This is optional, so I'll just call this mode. Select your font size. I'll select big, and we don't have to worry about anything else. This is all just showing you how to look, and we'll hit create. And I can see this little mode icon popped up right here. If you actually go to the screen button, edit dashboard layout, you can actually see the size of it. So we'll actually drag this out so it's a little bigger, and we'll hit save. And that's all we have to do for Adafruit for now. We will be coming back. So now we got to go to if then that website, create an account. This account or this website is free. So this you can do a whole bunch of different if then that's applications. There's like Instagram, whatever this is, more Google. This is with the weather. So there's lots you can do with this website, and it's totally free. So once you come to this screen, we'll click my applications. Let this load up. You can see I have a whole bunch. I have a whole bunch of these that I already use on my Google Home currently. But for the sake of this video, I'll just be making one of the ones we'll be needing for this. It's just one. It's really quick. So we'll come over here and click new. So then we'll click here. It will be presented with you if then that. So we'll click if this then that. Sorry. We'll click the blue button here. And when you click that, we'll be presented with all these different programs. So we'll be using Google Assistant. Now when you click this, you'll pop up saying connect. Just log in with your Google account, and then you'll be presented with this screen. You can see that there's different triggers. So we just have a simple phrase, a phrase with a number, a phrase with a text intelligence, or we can do a combination of both. We will be just using the text intelligence. So what do you want to say? We'll say change mode to, and then to say what you actually said, you can see it underneath. It says enter a $sign, where you want the text intelligence to be. So that's not a $sign. We'll just say right there $sign. And if you have any other ways you want to say it, I don't really have any other ways, but if I do, I can always come back and edit this. The Google will say, okay, changing mode to $sign. Let's just fix that K. And then again, there's also some languages if you want. So we'll say create trigger, then that, and now we were on the Adafruit website. So now we're just going to type Adafruit. And when you click this, you'll be presented with a connect button again. Just log into your Adafruit account and hit authorize, and you'll be presented with this. There we only have one option, so we'll select that. Now you can see these are the other ones I was using previously. Now you can see mode, which is the one I just made. So select that, and to send over the data from our voice for what we wanted to be said, we'll just click this button down here, and we'll say text field. Now you see it comes up with a couple brackets, and you can see there's a Google icon right there. Oops, I don't want to do it twice, just want to do it once. And we'll say create action. And just like that. Do you want it, because you can also get an app for this, so it will tell you every time. I always turn that off because it can be annoying. And we'll just click finish. And there it is, it's on and it's ready to go. Now I'll bring my Google Home over, and you'll see that the Google will respond to this phrasing. Okay, so here we are. You can see we have the Google Home here. I have the tall version, so that's all nice and dandy. Okay, so now we can say, hey Google, change mode to 2.
Okay, changing mode to 2.
And now you can see on your screen here, I have a screen recording, and you can see it actually changed the mode to 2 on the Adafruit website. So hey Google, change mode to rainbow.
Okay, changing mode to rainbow.
You can see it says rainbow right there. So this is where our bases will be going. We do some other ones. Hey Google, change mode to party.
Okay, changing mode to party.
And you can see there it is on the screen again. Okay, so now I'll be taking you back over to the Arduino code IDE. So let's go over there right now. Okay, so here we are in the Arduino IDE. So this will be loaded in the description. So this I took from online. I've added some of my own code. It's pretty messy. So I'll just start up here. So right here is again pin 2. Like I said, I'll be using pin 2. Here I have 60 LEDs selected. Even though my roll I have has 300, I'll only be using 60 of them. Brightness set here will just be 120 out of 255. We're using the WS2812B lights. RGB is the order. So these are some things you only have to change really is the brightness if you want it brighter, and the number of LEDs you'll be using. So just come down here. You'll have to put your Wi-Fi name in, so whatever your Wi-Fi is called, and the password is right here underneath it. So you can see here's the Adafruit IO setup. So this is, I said we would be going back to Adafruit. So we're going to do that right now. So we're going to enter your username. So I'll just enter my username right there, and then your authentic key. So now this will go back to the Adafruit site, and now to get your key, go over to this little key icon. It's in this yellow. It says your secret AIO key, so authorizing key. So just click that, and you can see it will pop up right here. It says Arduino. So we already have this one with the username. You can just copy this whole text if you want. We'll just copy that. We'll go back to Arduino, and we'll just go over these 2 lines of code and Control V, or Command V I should say. And there you go. There's our lines of code right there. So then everything else should be fine. You can see it right here. It says mode 1. That's why I named it mode 1. Or actually it looks like it's capitalized, but this is the actual name in the Adafruit site. So you can actually change this to different things, but just to keep it simple, because it's in here multiple times, I would just, if you're going to change the name to something else, all you have to do is just change this little to whatever it is going to be. So since I named it mode, I'm just going to keep it mode. And then these are feeds. So then if you add other things like brightness or different applications for the Wemos to control, you just have to basically it's just copy this and then change the name and change the name here for what it's actually called in the code. So then coming down here to setup, some of this doesn't really matter. It's how it came, and I don't really want to mess with it too much. And that's basically all you really have to do. So if you are going to add more feeds to it, it's best if you just copy all of this. I'm going to fix this up because I know it's not the cleanest here. So then if you want to get a number, so this char here, we'll have to change this. I'll leave one in comments for if you were going to write one with a number. I'll leave that just right under here. You can pick up this code in the description and the link. So all this, and then so make sure you have the right board selection if you want to upload this, because this is ready to upload already. So what we'll make sure to do if you have never used the Wemos is I will also leave there's like a URL I used to put. I'll leave that in the bottom here. I'll show you. So if you come up here to preferences, and right here is the URL you have to put. I'll leave this in the description too. So you just copy paste that into this little bar icon. You hit OK. Come over to Tools, and you can already see I already have it selected. But if you don't, you'll have to come over to Board and scroll all the way down to here, ESP, and we'll click here, and I won't remove it, but you'll just hit install instead of remove. Wait for it to install and do its thing. Close. You might have to restart Arduino again if you click board and you don't see it under boards. Just restart Arduino, it should be there. But if you do have it, it will be all the way down here at the bottom. You'll see right here, Wemos D1 R2 and a mini. I have a D1 mini, so that's the board. Select that. And then you can run some other different things. I just have it all. This is all like default. So there's a memory speed and all this. I don't have it selected. So if you're on a Mac, it'll be a little harder to get the actual board to recognize because this is a cloned board. And there might be some problems. But if you're on a Windows, it should just pop up as soon as you plug it in. So let me just plug mine in. If you guys need help, if people on, especially on Mac, if you need help showing you the drivers to install this, so we'll just plug it in right here, and all we will have to do is just come over here to this upload, and we'll click upload. Just make sure that it's on the right port. Here it is, and we'll just click upload, and it's going to do its thing. This actually sometimes takes a while, especially since I changed some code. So we'll just wait here, and there's some errors. Let me just fix some of those. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I got that finished. It was because I didn't put in my Wi-Fi name, and the names I didn't realize that were actually changed. So I would just put your username and then just copy just the authentic key. Just don't copy this because of how it's set up down here in the code. Just copy just the authentic key, and I didn't have make sure you have your Wi-Fi in, and it's only 2.4G. It will not work with your 5G because the Wemos is only for a 2.4G. Okay, so now we'll bring it over to the camera here. Hopefully, let's make sure it's rolling. Great. Okay, we're rolling now. Okay, so I will just come over here and I will click the upload button just to make sure that this code works. And we'll see there that it looks like it's gonna go, and you can see all these dots going. On here you can see there's a little light pulsing. It's kind of hard to see on the camera. It's pretty dim. There you can see 100% done, and now your code is uploaded. For some people who want to change the code to their own liking, so how I have it set up is if you scroll all the way down here to mode change. So now this is where whatever you say will be translated into the code. So right now I have, off select to just item 1. So how this is set up is it's really messy. I know it's really messy, but I have it a couple times when I say off, it'll do a capital O or a lowercase o, and I can't really figure out how to get very consistent with it. So I just have it just saying or I have mode 1 all the way through all my modes here, and button 1. So one of the things I'm planning to do is do like an offline type of thing, so you don't need the Google Home to work it. I would just have a button that would select, that would run through each one. But I don't have it implicated on this because I don't have it fully working just yet. But yeah. So we can see here we have off, we have rainbow, we have rainbow colors, heat, lava. These are all built-in programs. And then down here, a little lower, I have my own built-in ones here, like color, 1 color, 2 colors, 4 colors. I have ripple, so it kind of makes a little splash and ripple. My favorite one is twinkle. So this turns the whole strip as like a blue, and it twinkles randomly into like a purple and fades back out. I have back and forth. This is pretty dumb. This is like one of the first ones I made. It's just a little line, a little dot goes back and forth. I have Christmas here, so this is when Christmas time was. I had this set up on my window. It's just like a orange or a red and green. I have rays, which is flashes a bunch of colors really quickly. I have move. I don't believe I have this working 100%. Maybe I'll either just delete this or I'll get it working by the time this video is posted. But now we'll actually start to breadboard. So I'll bring you guys over to the breadboarding part. Okay, so here's our Wemos on a breadboard, and what I'll be using is I'll just be using male-to-male connectors. So I'll take my roll. This is the end right here. So it usually has 2 power adapters. I just take these off because I had them short out. So here is our connector for our lights. So we have the white is ground, green is data, red is positive, or 5 volts. So I have some here that don't really match, so we'll just plug each one of these in for demonstration. So I know you can't quite see, but we're going to take the gray wire, which is ground. We're going to plug that into ground right here. I have this not in the right position, so move it over just right there. So gray will go to ground right there. White is data, which is going to be the one right beside it, which is D4, or encode, which is pin 2. And black is positive, and that will just go to the positive pin right there. And that's all it is. And now I'm just going to take the power right here and just plug it in. So let's get a wider shot of the roll so you can see. Okay, so now we have the light strips connected. We have our Wemos, which is powered, and we have our Google Home here. So now if I just go, hey Google, turn off lamp.
You got it. Turning
so
off
that turns
the
off my
lamp.
lamp because I have some smart plugs around. So let me just refixture this camera so you can actually see everything. Okay, so now we will go, hey Google, change mode to rainbow.
Changing mode to rainbow.
And there you can see we have our rainbow effect. So again, I said I'm only using, was it 60 LEDs I believe? But obviously I can do a lot more. You just have to make sure if you're going to do more that you have enough power. So you might want to do some PCB work on this. If you guys want me to make a video on how to make the PCB with some pre-made holes that you can use like a USB plug to power more. But if you're just using 60 LEDs, it's totally fine just to plug it straight into the Wemos. But if you're going to do more than that, you're going to need to make a fixture, because I believe, I'm not 100%, that when the power goes in, it's only letting 1 amp through. So if you put a 2.1 amp, it's still only going to let 1 amp through. I'm not 100% on that, but yeah. So I'll just show some more demonstrations here. So we have, hey Google, change mode to rave.
Changing mode to rave.
See, this is one just changes the colors really quickly. Hey Google, change mode to twinkle.
Changing mode to twinkle.
So this is my favorite one. You can see that it's just kind of pulsing back and forth. To change this color, you actually can't. I couldn't at least find a right color combination that would achieve this good, because else it would kind of fade and leave some of the color behind. So that's why I stuck with this. We have some other ones like, hey Google. Hey Google, change mode to, oh, it's gonna talk, isn't it? Nope. Hey Google, change mode to ripple.
Changing mode to ripple.
And then you can see this is kind of like a rippling effect. So if I were to have it on a spaced out, like flat, you could see it rippling. And then there's the other pre-installed ones. So like, hey Google, change mode to lava.
Changing mode to lava.
You can see this is kind of like this. So another thing is, if you want to slow it down, I'll just show you in the code really quick how to hard code it to slow down. So this is where I want to come maybe with a potentiometer, so I could speed up or slow down the speed, but then also have another potentiometer that splits off, because remember there's only one analog, so it's kind of hard how you're going to have to split if you want to do two potentiometers. But I would change one to also change the brightness with the button to change the mode. If you guys want to make me a separate video on that, let me know. So I'll just show you on the screen now how to change the speed of this. So this will also change how fast all the animations will go by. So hey Google, change mode to off.
Changing mode to off.
Okay. If you want to change the speed, it's up right here at the very top, line 25, updates per second. So you can change this to be 1250. So this is, it gets divided in half, so it's not 250 milliseconds, it's kind of divided. So the higher this is, I believe the slower it goes. It's one way or the other, but you can play around with this. And then for also that twinkling one, you guys can change how often it happens. You guys can have a look through this code. I know it's really messy, but if you have any other questions on the Google Home with the ESP and the WS2812Bs, leave it in the comments. Thank you for watching.